how one's mouth does not combust into ash after spewing such incoherent ramblings.
There's no doubt that masks work.
Is nothing short of flabbergasting. This man, with a straight face, just said the masks are effective on an individual level, but not on a broad population scale. Isn't the population composed of individuals? Being the most dangerous commentary show on Beyonce's internet comes with its own set of challenges. YouTube time and time again refuses to promote our videos because we have very controversial takes on extremely sensitive subjects. So chances are, if you stumbled on this clip by accident, you'll never get to see our content again unless you hit that subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. But either way, we're glad you're here. And now, back to the clip. Our Goofy of the Week this week goes out to Dr. Anthony Fauci, seen here disapprovingly watching his wife shower without a mask on. Fauci was on CNN last week and was asked about a detailed study from the Cochran Group, iterating the fact that face masks had absolutely no effect on the curbing of the spread of COVID-19. Jesse, the scientific receipts.
Nice to have you back. How worried are you that people will not follow advice to wear masks if we get to that?
Well, Michael, that's a very good question. As you said, if we get to that, I mean, we're starting to see a surge of cases, as you mentioned, about an 18 or 19% increase in hospitalizations, certainly going in the wrong direction with looks like a late summer and into the fall surge. How bad it's going to get, we don't know. As you know, this is a very unpredictable virus, has shown us that over the last 3.5 years. I am concerned that people will not abide by recommendations. And we're not talking about mandates or forcing anybody, but when you have a situation where the volume of cases in society gets to a reasonably high level, particularly the vulnerable, those who are elderly and those with underlying conditions, are going to be more susceptible and vulnerable if they do get infected to get severe disease leading to hospitalization. We know that. That's a fact. We've seen that. So I would hope that if, in fact, we get to the point where the volume of cases is such and organizations like the CDC recommend, CDC doesn't mandate anything, I mean, recommends that people wear masks, I would hope that they abide by the recommendation and take into account the risk to themselves and to their families. And again, we're not talking about forcing anybody.
This is nothing short of medical grade gaslighting. The CDC doesn't mandate anything? So whose idea was it to muzzle the entire globe for nearly 3 years, Doc? This is the same group of people claiming that Trump should spend the remainder of his life in prison for inciting an insurrection. Well, if we're to gobble this nonsense is spewing, then Trump should get to walk off free since he technically never stepped foot inside the Capitol on January 6th. This man was on television twice a day, every day, calling anyone who refused to breathe in their own stale carbon monoxide a mass murderer. Now, all of a sudden, there were just suggestions? People lost jobs and others ended up on no-fly lists because of your mere suggestions. Do you care or are you just insane? But please, Jesse, more unhinged receipts.
Totally understood. There is a perception out there by many, how many I don't know, that they don't work and that the data concludes that they didn't work in the first go-round. Respond to that on masks.
Yeah, well, that's not so. I mean, when you're talking about at the population level, that the data are less strong than knowing that if you look on a situation as an individual protecting themselves or protecting them from spreading it, there's no doubt that masks work. Different studies give different percentages of advantage of wearing it, but there's no doubt that the weight of the studies, and there have been many studies, indicate the benefit of wearing masks.
I'm going to refer to one of them. You've heard about it before. I heard about it from a number of radio callers. Brett Stevens in the Times talked about Cochran. Put that on the screen. The most rigorous and comprehensive analysis of scientific studies conducted on the efficacy of masks for reducing the spread of respiratory illness, including COVID-19, was published last month. Its conclusions, said Tom Jefferson, the Oxford epidemiologist who is the lead author, were unambiguous. There is just no evidence that masks, make any difference. He told the journalist Mayan Damasi, full stop. But wait, hold on. What about the N95 masks as opposed to the lower quality surgical or cloth masks? Makes no difference. None of it, he said. Well, what about the studies that initially persuaded policymakers to impose mask mandates? They were convinced by non-randomized.
How one's mouth does not combust into ash after spewing such incoherent ramblings is nothing short of flabbergasting. This man, with a straight face, just said the masks are effective on an individual level, but not on a broad population scale. Isn't the population composed of individuals? At this point, they're not even trying to make it make sense, because they know sheep will comply regardless. You told us to believe the science, yet the science itself seems clueless. So whose science are we to believe, Doc? Because it seems as though everything you told us about this virus, including its origin, was all lies. This is what Jamaicans call being wrong and strong. He damn well knows that these masks don't work, but he would rather look like a barrel of fools on national television than admit the truth. Because in reality, he's a tiny dork that got a taste of power and fame, and now he's hooked and will do anything for his next hit. I really hope people wake up and refuse to comply this time around. Because I swear to God, if another mall cop asks me to pull up my chin diaper because Anthony Fauci said so, I'm going to spaz. Absolutely preposterous.